Research at the moment. We hope that others will join us. We have seated already two of the presenters. We have Dr. Umisadu Shimaleshun. We also have Dr. Abiodun Olofusha. We are seen at the moment. Maybe we might have other people presenting virtually. So I am Olufemi Timothy Ogunbode on that.
Yes, I think one of the panel, one of presenters has joined online.
The name of the person?
Ikechukwu Maxwell.
Okay, Ikechukwu Maxwell. Okay, that's the fifth person. Okay, it is noted. Okay, so we welcome our online viewers to today's session, and we hope that we have interesting and fruitful deliberations together. I will be inviting our first presenter to showcase what he has for us as we look into belief systems and devotion. And that's Dr. Fumi Saliu in Maledo. Welcome, sir. You have 15 minutes for your presentation. 15 minutes, not too much, so that I'll be able to discuss maybe 10 minutes, sir. 10 minutes, thank you, sir. I'll see how I can place so that we can have a session to discuss. So, yeah, you can go on. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. I greet everyone. Good morning. My name is Imadi from Misali, and I will be talking on the title. All of us, Yoruba Scripture believes in the phenomenon of Egungun ancestral worship as a peace festival among the indigenous Ibadan. Egungun festival among the Yorubas has come to serve as an important source for understanding the culture.
Sir, please hold on for us for a minute. We want to confirm with your live viewers if they can help. Dr. Ikechukwu Maxwell, can you hear us?
Good morning, Chair. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So please go ahead, sir.
Like I said, my topic is Olomonas Yoruba's first reading in the phenomenon of ancestral worship as a peace festival among the indigenous Ibadan. Egungun festival among the Yorubas has come to serve as an important source for understanding the control of cultural religion in a plural society. It has provided invaluable insights into the diversity and complexity of life in the developing world. On the culture and religious front, it has promoted a better insight into social realism. The festival has become an expedient object in the separate realism of modernity and tradition. We all know that Ibadan is one of the youngest towns in Yoruba land. And as a result of that, Ibadan is electing pause for different festivals, including Egungun Festival. Particularly, I'll be looking at one of those Egungun in Ibadan, and that would be Egun Ololu. Egun Ololu is a sacrifice. It's actually meant for sacrifice. There are two types of Egungun in Ibadan. Egun Ogun, that is war masquerade. I mean, war Egun is something as masquerade. War masquerade and masquerade that are meant for sacrifice. So That's why 120, over 120 masquerade in Ibadan. Egun Olodo is the only masquerade meant for sacrifice. Any other Egun are war masquerade. Now, as important as this masquerade is, scholars have actually ignored this masquerade in Ibadan, probably because of the spirituality that is attached to it. And where they have made mention of it, they have actually giving a wrong notion, like what this paper is based on, looking at other perception of masquerade within the Ibadan. I have three research questions here. How does the Olodo Festival contribute to peace building in Ibadan? What specific rights and practices during the festival for social cohesion? While the last one talks about what are the challenges to sustaining peace during festival and how can they be addressed? The focus of this study is the Egungun Olodo, like I said earlier, within the indigenous Ibadan community. And let me say this. Like I said Ibadan is one of the newest town within the Yoruba community. Yeah, despite that, modernity has come in, and it's like now what we have currently in Ibadan, we have two Ibadan is divided into two parts. We have four Ibadan, where tradition is still maintained, and that is where I'm looking at. Let me quickly run through the structure of Olodo. Now, like I said earlier on, I said masquerade is grouped into two. Olodo is masquerade that actually meant for sacrifice. And we all know, Olodo, like any other masquerade, what masquerade does is that we have the costume meant for masquerade. The face of masquerade is not allowed to be seen. But in the case of Olodo, we have two costumes for Olodo. The first one makes him as normal, that is the masquerade. The second one makes him Ebora. Ebora is what we refer to as a deity. Let me just use the word deity. So, normally in Ibadan, Egungun Festival is between May and July. The last week of Egungun is meant for Egungun Olodo. It means no any other Egungun is allowed to be seen within this period. The first month and a half is meant for any other Egungun. Like I told you, I said Egungun in Ibadan is divided into two. For the other Egungun, so the last week is actually meant for Egungun Olodo. Now, let me talk about the ritual under this structure. You have the ritual, like I told you, Ebo is something as sacrifice. Ebo is actually really associated with Egungun Olodo. What Egungun Olodo does is that What Egungun Olodo does is that it tries as much as possible to share these sacrifices around Ibadan. Female are not allowed to see Egungun Olodo. Probably you have question under that. The costume of Olodo is actually meant to sweep away causes, diseases, and many other unpalatable evil within Ibadan space. And it's also cultural significance of Olodo. Olodo ritual is assumed to be effective in Ibadan. It serves as a connection between the living dead and the dead ancestors. And also, when people gather together to celebrate this, since any other Egungun come together within this period to celebrate with Egungun Olodo. Any other deities, Shango, Yemoja, Oya, they also come together to celebrate this. Now, also this festival enhances social cohesion. Conflict resolution is also an attribute to this. Community harmony is also into this festival. Just like this festival, there are a lot of challenges that is associated with this festival. The first one has to do with government regulations. Sometimes because of other festivals like Christian festival and Muslim festival, the government can shift the date. Like what we had this Muslim festival. The date for festival, the Olodo festival, masquerade January in Ibadan, was shifted from normal time And also, they have also conflicts. Conflicts are always coming up during this period. And mostly, it is always, conflicts are always perpetrated by the Muslims. Muslim. The reason to that, we may be hearing that later in our discussion. Well, let me just run to the conclusion now so that now, okay, recommendation first. Now we recommend I try as much as possible to look at the structure, and I think stakeholders like community leaders, governments, cultural organizations should enlighten the public on the need to preserve cultural heritage. Tolerance can assist in making sure that every festival can be incorporated into cultural setting of Ibadan. And this can also be, we can also have dialogue between the traditional worshippers and the military body, authority that is the government. We're talking about the government. The government can organize symposium and the rest, which they do also. Declare public holiday. Like when you have a particular day, okay, this day is fixed for Egun Ololu, so that any other religion doesn't come up and have clashes with this Egun. Well, you can go to something. Okay, to summarize, what I've only tried to say here, because of the time, when you look at the topic talks about Olomona. Well, what I'm able to say to deduce from what Olomona have said about the Egun festival is that now Yoruba perspective about Egun is that Egun are around has to do with heavenly messenger. Let me just put that spirits, the dead spirits, which reside in heaven. But for Olomana have defined Egun as Ilumoye, that is what under. The word is divided into two parts in Yoruba cosmology. But for Olomana divided the word into three parts. Looking at Ilumoye as the main focus of his analysis. And within that analysis, it cannot be situated into Egungun Festival, which has to be Egungun. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have managed the time. He has given us the minutes as a dash. Thank you very much, Sir Doc. Please, can I take your seat? Let's have the next presenter. Do we have any other presenter online? Is Dr. Solomon Amiara online? Is he online? Okay, let's have Dr. Abiodun to South. Thank you, sir. You have 10 minutes to do this for us. So after all presentation, then we'll take questions.
Yeah. Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Dr. Abiodun Bishop of University, and I'll be looking at this topic, exploring the continuities of homosexuality and religion in Nigeria literary discourse. The paper actually explores the homosexuality with the context of religion in Nigerian literary space, looking at those two issues, religion and homosexuality, knowing that Nigeria itself is a most diverse society full of religions, beliefs, the Muslims, the Christians, the traditional worshippers, they are all there. And the religious belief also actually map out our Africanness, whom we have. Religion mark that one out and say, we're looking at it from the literary perspective, and we're taking two literary texts. We need the literary authors. We're looking at Chinelo's Under the Color Tree and Apani's Graceland. And this is also the try to navigate the intricacies between religion and sexuality. We try to shed light on the challenges faced by individuals. Challenges faced by individuals within the religious community and in the broader society, and the tension between these homosexuals, the recognition, the acceptance in the stigma being faced and all kind of discrimination that they express. Basically, this paper actually played the gap. We all believe that beliefs must teach morality. Whether we believe on other religion, whether religion we practice, it must teach morality. And that is the gap that this paper intends to fill. And looking at it from a religious perspective, look at different reflections and dialogue from different sides. And we also know that in Nigeria, and in this same-sex marriage provision act, which was installed in 2013, and the essence of that is to, to kind of clamp down on the homosexuals in the system, in society. And this provision act actually was deeply rooted in cultural and religious tradition. And look at it and look, the homosexuals are not welcome in the society as played by religion assist. Not only that, in back to 2023 also, as quoted by Ayo or Sinago, consider several sub-Saharan African countries, including Nigeria, Uganda, South Sudan, and Mauritania, they legislated against black identities as same-sex sexual activity to silence the voices and express of those who engage in them. That the essence of the Provision Act is to silence them for them not to be heard at all. And then we look at the intersection of religion and homosexuality. The intersection of religion and homosexuality. Religion basically is a complex and also multifaceted concept that encompasses a set of beliefs, practices, and rituals. And not like it is the essence of religion. It involves faith and worship. To teach moral code and ethics. It's all about rituals and practices, and a lot of religion is to provide meaning and purpose. Religion is to provide meaning and purpose, comfort and solace, guidance and wisdom, and community and belongingness. For the essence is religion actually providing this for the people? Or rather, what that we see, you see a lot of discrimination and going outside the main aim of religion, and that's why in Nigeria where we have about 220 million people of diverse religious beliefs, and at the same time we also have the upcoming ones, the young ones who are trying to actually to come up to establish their own belief, but somehow they are discriminated again. And then we look at now picking analysis from two different texts, from literary texts, prose. That is Chinelo's Under the Dollar Tree and Abani's Graceland. Knowing that literature itself is one of the voices of the voiceless. One of the meaning by the voiceless have been heard. And here, for example, the first text Under the Dollar Tree presents a young lady, who struggle with her strong feelings of love for a person of the same sex. She has strong feeling for her, and she falls in love with her roommate Amina. Very passionate and relationship solid and sincere. But the society and the religion will not allow that to strive. Even the mother drums to her ear always. That look, at the beginning, God created man and woman, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Adam or Eve and Eve. So she drums that into her head. She even cites example of Lot in the Bible. That Lot is a very good person who tries to protect and get, but at the same time, the young lady tried to oppose the mother by saying that how did that make him a good man? Why? Because he offered up his own daughter to be done with as the sodomite wished. So now, how does that make Lot a good person? Yes, now, and also we believe that look, marriage is for procreation. So that's why the man must come together. The man must come together and marry. But look, there are so many marriages without kids, without children. And he says, is that also an abomination? Definitely not. And so it's not every marriage that produces children. And so that aspect to her, Ujoma cannot stand. And that's why she expresses that passion to Amina that look, we can actually get married. Marriage is supposed to be based on love. But what is today, marriages are based on religion and cultural beliefs. So this is how it should be, and this is how it must be. Out of religion, out of love, is to remove And that's why Amina, he says, but we were in love. He declares to Amina, they say, look, we were in love. I crave Amina's presence for no other reason than to have it. So certainly friendship and this intimate companionship with someone who knew me in a way that no one else did. It was a heightened state of friendship. And so she expresses her feeling for this lady because the feeling is sincere and genuine. Yet, and it doesn't, maybe love was also a combination of friendship and infatuation. So and at the same time, she loved this lady, this her friend, but society will not allow that marriage to stand, and she's forced into a marriage with Shibundu, her main friend. She's forced to marry her, and that marriage collapses along the line. Because what she tells India, say, look, he is my husband, yes, but you are the one I love. So marriage is just perfect because society, the mother pressure, then you just marry him. But the person she actually loves is India, of same gender. And so he said, hey, he is my husband, but you are the one I love. And then look, that's why even Shibundu himself tells her, they can say, look, you can just try. It shouldn't be that hard to love me, or am I that unlovable? Now, I'm telling her, look, you can love me as well. And so that's why I said marriage is a promise, not just to marry, but also to love. So it's not about culture, it's not just about religion, it's love that should be the bedrock of marriage in a society. And unfortunately as well, even these homosexuals in that text, where they meet, where because of the discrimination and what are going to have, they even meet in their church. That way they meet secretly to express themselves, and that church is known as Friend in Jesus Church of God, Fountain of Love. That's where they meet. And he also just as a look, the church is is supposed to accept, not to discriminate human beings despite your belief. And that's why he said that qualification of communication is never a marriage certificate. And then they also, both of them also, Kabani and Chinelo, contain the issue of discrimination and double justice related to these individuals in the society. Oh, they are sinful, they are going to hell, and we have different instances, because of our time, I'm not going to quote that, different instances in the two texts, whereby those who are seen as going to hell are actually discriminated upon, they're shouted at, and whoever decides to defend them, that person also will be stoned. And that's why also in the book, even Shibundu says all these things are abomination. And said because if you look deeply enough into this doctrine, you begin to see that the church just want to do is that to get as many followers as possible and to keep them under control. It likens church, religion, even to business. What is that business is the reason for things like doctrines. Business is the reason for what like abomination. The church is the oldest and most successful business known to man because it knows not only how to recruit customers, but also how to control them with things like doctrine, sowing seeds, abomination, and the danger of hell.
1 minute more, sir.
Thank you very much. I will try to random. And so, but in now start to consider of her. What matters is that you find yourself wherever you need to be, that is to her. That is in conclusion now. In conclusion, try to conclude. And each woman declares, he said, marriage or relationship is like a bicycle. And of course, it does. Saying duty is one leg, I am the other one. Marriage is for companionship. Marriage is for whereby love is expressed. And you come by saying, by quoting from the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, so when God made a new covenant with the house of Israel, in Hebrews chapter 8, he believed that even God believes in change. And so people also should be allowed to express themselves. He said, if the Old Testament was not kind of practically first now, but the new one will not be introduced. Not only that, also, even in the Old Testament, we have the animal sacrifice, which is replaced by Jesus' death on the cross, Calvary. He said that means change. We have covenant of law. Yes, now, where in the New Testament, we have the covenant of grace. That is also change. Not that in Old Testament we have which focus on the Jew, but New Testament which is changed also the focus is on every human being. And so as we submit, I will submit from the literary text. He said that we want to submit that hatred and unhealthy discrimination should not be encouraged in society. That's the focus of this paper. Since God believes in change.
Sir, I don't know, maybe we have another convention in the house. Okay, we'll go online now and we will be welcoming on board Dr. Ikechukwu Maxwell. Please, are you there?
Yeah, let me.
Yes, please, good chair. I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You'll be presenting now, but before your presentation, let me ask if we have any other presenter online at the moment. Do we have any? Okay, no problem. So please, you can go on. You have 10 minutes for your presentation. You will be presenting on faith and health misinformation in pandemic response, a critical analysis of Pentecostal church leaders' influence on COVID-19 control measure in Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Doc, you are welcome. Please continue. Is it off time? Can you hear me? Doc, can you hear me? Please continue. Your time starts now.
Sorry, did you hear my request, sir?
What did you say?
I said, can the handlers of the system allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes, you'll be allowed. You'll be allowed. Please go ahead.
It's not working. I'm trying to share my screen.
Okay, you will be.
Yes, chair.
Okay. Can you share now?
Host disabled participants screen sharing. That is the response I'm getting.
Okay, yes. It should be updated soon. Are we on the same page now?
The feedback is the same, sir.
Okay, hold on. Okay, why we do that? We have
Okay, you should try it now. You can try it now,
Let's
sir.
try now. Hello,
Yes, please.
can you share now? No problem. Choose while you are still working on this one. I will send it out. So please ask from the two presenters. Okay.
Sir, are you there? Can you share now, please?
Yeah, share your screen. Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It's coming up.
Okay. Please go ahead. So while it's coming up, you can continue while we pay attention to your presentation.
Yes. Good morning, chairman of the session, and of course, fellow panelists. My work is on faith and health misinformation in pandemic response, and exploration of Pentecostal church leaders' influence on COVID-19 control measure in Nigeria. I believe we can see the screen, right?
No, not yet, sir. Not yet, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, let me play it. All right, this work is by Ikechukwu Maxwell and Happiness Kodochima Ogiri. Now, the work attempts to look at how Pentecostal church leaders.
Your patience, please, from the two presentations we had earlier, do we have comments We have questions again. Why he
Sir, I think he's back.
is back now?
Sir, can you go on now, sir?
Okay, sir. This is my the questions. I say Egungun is known as Ara Orange in Yoruba. So there's a video of police arresting Egungun online in Lagos here. So I want to know how are Egungun related to such things that Egungun without being arrested. But I should say, I don't know. And then the second one is the models that you know that divided into three expressions. Please, I want to know that so then how relevant is the relevance of the application to what we have in the region. Therefore, the one on homosexuality. So I said that should homosexuality be allowed in Nigeria? No, we be indulged. And what do you subtract? You accept that. And it's one that in African culture, its homosexuality is said allowed. Particularly Yoruba culture, before Christianity or Islam came. So, and then I said it's homosexuality a learned or genetic behavior of character. Be learned or you inherited. I will look at the issue of law. And I ask question here. Because you said that the people should be allowed to express Islamic freely. And I ask, should sexuality expression be regulated or not? There be control or no control? Sexual expression.
Thank you, sir. Please, let's note the two questions. Let's take an answer.
Okay, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. So my question is for Ms. Malcolm. And my question is based on the statements you made about the conversation about domain classification and being not allowed to see or look there, looking it. Of course, I'm familiar with that. So I am familiar with the fact that during the festival, I don't know if that has changed, but we're not allowed to see. So my question, I have a couple of questions about that. So one of it is the fact that what is the significance of direct non-participation in the festival, particularly between have there been shifts in this participation in recent times? And then also, these levels of spiritual place on women during the festival, how are these justified by the practitioners of the festival? And then lastly, how does this gender exclusion masquerade reflect broader patriarchal structures in the environment? I'm sorry, I have to first. I don't know.
Thank you, sir. So please, I want you to quickly respond to each in 2 minutes. Is this what we have in cooperation?
I just note.
Yes, please just note it. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Ikechukwu, you are welcome back. Can we have you now?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman. I'm sorry for the mix-up.
Thank you.
The paper is Faith and Health Misinformation in Pandemic Response, an exploration of Pentecostal church leaders' influence on COVID-19 control measures in Nigeria. The paper was written by myself and Happiness Kodochima Ugiri.
We can see your screen now.
On the introduction, I'm sharing already.
But we can say it at this other end.
Like you need to open it.
Yeah, just
Just continue, just continue. We will try and follow you.
All right. All right. Thank you. So the COVID-19 pandemic is a global health crisis that presented unprecedented challenges to health systems, economies, and societies worldwide. And Nigeria also has its own fair share of this challenge. The pandemic has been characterized by the rapid spread of misinformation, contradicting information, and rumors, which have led to widespread confusion, issues of mistrust in the health authorities, and even non-compliance to health guidelines. Political and religious leaders have played significant roles in shaping the narrative around the pandemic, with some spreading misinformation and others prompting public health measures, which have contributed to various levels of compliance with the health guidelines. Statement of problem. Religious leaders with their significant influence on public opinion have played a crucial role in shaping adherence to COVID control measures. However, limited attention has been given to the issue from a medical humanities perspective, especially with religion as a focus. First, this qualitative study critically examines the influence of Pentecostal church leaders on COVID-19 control measures in Nigeria, focusing on the interplay between faith narratives, misinformation, and public health outcomes, aim and specific objectives. The core aim of this study is to examine the Pentecostal church leaders' influence on COVID-19 control measures in Nigeria. We had two specific objectives. The first one is to examine the impact of Pentecostal church leaders' influence on COVID-19 controls during the pandemic area. The second is to analyze the role of faith and health misinformation within the context of the public health challenge of COVID-19. The study employs an exploratory research design. It combines secondary and primary data collection methods. The secondary data were gotten basically from documents, literatures, journals, reports on Pentecostal church leaders, sermons, their statements, and also social media posts. While the primary data was gotten basically from public health experts. The data analysis was done through thematic and content analysis. Conceptual clarification. The paper made a lot of
That human being is made up. One, the body and
all right. Conceptual clarification. Conceptual clarification. The paper attempts to clarify the concept health misinformation. We consider that concept worthy of some clarification. Misinformation is cases in which people about factual matters are not supported by clear evidence or expert opinion. It is false information being spread without an intention to mislead on health. So that within the context of our study, misinformation is false information being spread by Pentecostal leaders on the health implications of COVID pandemic in line with their beliefs without intention to deliberately mislead their congregation or the larger society. This work adopted the health belief model as our theoretical framework. This health belief model is a psychological framework that explains and predicts health behaviors by focusing on individual beliefs and attitude. It was developed by a social psychologist involved to help people understand health behavior, success, benefits, barriers, cues to action, and self-efficacy affect health behavior. This thought belief model provides a framework to understand how Pentecostal church leaders influence COVID-19. Specifically, we aspect of this to action so that we health compliance issues within the context of COVID-19. We reviewed a number of, thank you very much. We reviewed a number of theories, principally one of view of COVID-19 pandemic effective control on religion. We review literature on our findings. The first finding pertains to our first objective, which is the influence of Pentecostal church leaders on COVID-19 control. One area of influence we found out in the study is that Pentecostal church leaders were able to promote spiritual solutions through prayers, fasting, and exercise of faith, especially faith in the efficacious blood of Jesus. Also, another influence is seen in the church leaders' skepticism towards scientific evidence owing to conspiracy theories like the mark of the beast and death arising from the vaccination. The third aspect is that Pentecostal church leaders came up with resistance to of the COVID-19 and even vaccination, which they felt is a major avenue for sterilizing African populace and, more importantly, depopulating the African peoples. On the second objective, which is the role of faith and health misinformation, one area we discovered that faith connects with misinformation is the spread of misinformation through sermons, where spiritual guidance were offered as against medically or scientifically founded solutions. Another area is social media and other channels like television and radio programs. These are channels or avenues for the spread of this misinformation by. Another impact is on the impact it has on health responses, which led to resistance. But of course, some interviews argue that through consistent engagement, they were able to build trust, and that reduced the level of mistrust from Nigerian populace. On our recommendations, we suggest that there's need to empower faith leaders with latest vaccine evidence to promote accurate information and counter misinformation. We also recommend that medical humanities, especially religious studies components, should be well captured in curricula of colleges of medicine and faculties of health sciences and allied fields of study. This will help bridge the fears, mutual suspicion, and gap between religion and medicine as complementary fields in the service of humanity. Inclusively, the Ministry of Health should develop targeted interventions to address specific concerns and misconceptions about COVID-19 vaccines among Pentecostal church leaders and other religious groups. Lastly, in terms of confidence and trust building, opportunities for collaboration should be created where respected religious leaders can be engaged to disseminate verified health information and leveraging on church networks to distribute health resources and messages. In conclusion, while some Pentecostal leaders have used spiritual reasoning to counter misinformation, others have struggled to address concerns about vaccine safety and efficacy. Our findings provide insight into the challenges and opportunities for promoting public health in faith-based communities and underscores the need for collaboration between public health officials and faith-based leaders. It is envisaged that by working together, they can promote health information and effective control measures in faith-based communities and the wider Nigerian society. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. Thank you. Despite the challenge, you made it. Congratulations to you once again. Do we have any other presenter online? Okay, we didn't have anyone in the house yet. No one. Okay, so we can have enough time for deliberation. So let's take the first section about this. So you'll be having 3 minutes for all you'll be doing in responding to the 2 questions highlighted, because we might have other people raising, so because of that, you can still talk more about it. First question, why was Ebun arrested? If truly Ebun is around. Yeah, so I was trying to say that if Yoruba cosmology, especially with what is obtainable in Aduekit, Yoruba believe that human being is made up of two parts. One, the body and the spirit. The body belongs to the head. The spirits go back to the ancestor. Those ones that have sent him, or those ones that have sent him or her.
to see what is going on earth. The idea of the soul, which the other Yoruba, Yoruba Oyo, believe that we have the spirit, soul, and body. The aspect of soul is it is believed that it's colonial. It was influenced by colonialism, Islam, and Christianity. Yoruba do not believe that when someone dies, the soul go ahead to meet someone that will question him or her. It is assumed that the spirits move back to the ancestor. Ancestor will now look at the spirit and say, God, fine. When you go to the head, we asked you to do this, this is what you did, and you couldn't, you were able to do it, they will return the person. If the person did not do well, they will send the person back in form of a dangerous animal and the rest. So, the person that have been arrested, it was the body that was arrested. It wasn't the spirit. The spirit is what we refer to as evil. I think I'm clear with that. It is the spirit. The spirit wasn't arrested. It was the body. I think I'm clear. You just go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
The second one has to do with Olomona. The Olomona. Olomona divided the universe into three. We have the heaven world. That is where we talk about you have the earth, where human beings stay with animal and other living things. We have the underhead, which the ancestor is meant for the ancestor. So once someone dies, move down to the earth. But that is where my argument starts from. That there's no correlation between Olomona's perspective about Egun and Egun Oyo, which we in Ibadan believe. And there's another question that talks about women are not allowed to see Ololo. I will say this with all authority that it is a lie. Women take 95% in their participation of Egun Ololo. Let me shock you. 2019, 19. Now, in 2019, before Ololo will come out, before it will become around, what happened is that there's going to be a invocation of the spirit. And this invocation of the spirit will be done by the female. What we have in the church and what we have in the mosque, where we have the spirit to labor, spirits feel someone, and someone keep on speaking in tongues with the Christians. It also happens with the Ololus. So it is the female that will start speaking in tongues to confirm what the Ifa have already said before the coming of the Ololu. So the only thing that the Obìnrin doesn't do, the female doesn't do, is that they don't follow the Ololu out. And we have two types of we have some of the female that can follow Ololu. If you are triplets, as a female, you have the right to follow Ololu. If you have stopped bearing children, you have the right to follow Ololu. And the reason that is attached to this is this. According to what I got from the field, the traditional worshiper, they believe that Bogunje, that is, when you are with charm, your charm can become impotent, can render useless if female involved in it, and so on. So the last one, I think, women are not excluded in, okay, like I said, women are not excluded in Egungodo. They play prominent role. Before the uniform that we use in moving house, it was women that sold it. I got mine, and so they play. They only have specific role which they play. And don't forget, they are the young Oshuru Monica. They are the ones that stay in the house and allow the men to go. If anything is coming out at battlefield, they will consult the Yah, and the Yah will solve it.
I think there's a controversy about this whole idea of women participation or non-participation about the and I also feel that there's a lot of misconception about it. Yes, I'll still think about growing up, and I remember although decided And fortunately, my mom was a teacher at that point, and she was a St. Peter's Ariel. And I remember vividly, I was a secondary student. I remember vividly that during the period of Ololi Festival, they tell us as girls, as women, you don't see women, they close their shops, they close everywhere, you don't see women on the road. So now the controversy for me is, yes, women were participating before it comes out and becomes the around as you have explained. Then at what point, then you see men following you go to house, you don't see men. And there's a notion that when a woman sees Ololu face to face, the woman dies on the spot. So how do you navigate that, and how do you justify that to the previous positions of government? I don't know. I don't know. It's just.
We'll go back. Let's don't know this. We address it.
And then is not at the site of PSA women. Okay. Is it proper now that I was calling? No, are you saying that by the site, because you said certain kind of chance, so by citing women, by saying women, then your chance to come in potential? I think it's explanation.
Yes. Can I go on? Just go to it. You address it in case you might have other intervention. Let's have this. You have one online, so please take it together. You will not. Okay, yeah. Okay, no problem. Just attempt this. The next 3 minutes, sir. Then we'll when we get
Yeah, I only on presidential to allow in Nigeria or Africa. Well, at the moment, just as I said, mostly there is this Nigeria Same-Sex Marriage Provision Act of 2013. Actually, that one establishes it that homosexuality is not allowed in Nigeria legally. Get now, and not only in Nigeria, according to Manti, that even Uganda, South Sudan, and other nations within Africa is not legally recognized. Not that. So, I won't base on my personal belief, because we all understand scholarship is not also about scholarship, it's all about data, what you are able to present, get raw data, and I'll take my data from literature, literary text. And literature mirrors society. It's a means of expressing your feeling, your emotion, to make us understand what is going on. And these two authors, they are trying to navigate the interface between homosexuality and religion, and they try to establish the simple fact that this homosexuality also should be given the kind of freedom for them to express themselves. It should not be called that, because also the essence, according to one of the authors here, no scholars, he says that homosexuality also is a form of kind of silencing the people, not make them to be hard in society. Those religion acts and feeling and religion is actually basically to silence them. And so at the moment, the issue of whether to be allowed or not, it actually is based on what I've said today. The author are saying that they should be allowed to express themselves, and to leave of segregation, discrimination should not be allowed. Because actually, then we also talk about the culture, the African culture. Yeah, African culture is all about marriage between a man and a woman, between a man and a woman. And we also understand also that that is practice, that's culture. Yeah, but at the same time, we also understand from what we discussed from the data that things are changing as well. Even God himself has been the Old Testament, the New Testament, of animals, that of grace, and that of laws, and all those shaping of laws, things changed. And so also, Education also should change. Students should change. And we want to feel our opportunity to express ourselves. Then we want to talk about whether it's genetic or inherited. Well, homosexuality is not inherited. That is a personal shocks from the place that we've analyzed today. Ijeoma Mo married a man, and she's okay with the man. You get it? So based on the feeling, based on the law code, and but the doctor, yeah, man, goes another way. She's homosexual, and she lives with the person who understands her very well. And we know they also try to present two situations, two scenarios. You know, if you marry Shigundu, a man, that marriage will not last. That marriage produces just a child. And in that marriage, the husband discriminates against the child. Why? Because she has not given him a male child. And so that time the husband buys the toy car, and because, oh, you have not given me a male child. So he decides to take that toy car to a name of male children who will be riding it, and he won't allow his own daughter to ride go well. The machining, the car is for male, not for female children. Discrimination. And the child thinks that in her mind. And by the time the child leaves the father, she's happy. And so, if your mom marries a man in a marriage that does not last, and whereas she lives about 30 years with indigent, the same sex, married her for over 30 years, and they live cohabit peacefully without any problem. So, the doctor says, look, everybody should be allowed to practice whatever he wants or she wants. And the end of love also, well, should love or should homosexuality be regulated in society or for sexual expression? Yes, I would say it should be regulated. Just as for regulation is all about allowing, giving everyone opportunity to express yourself. But even marriages also are regulated. We have regulation guiding marriage. If you beat your wife, if you know, marital abuse, you abuse your wife. Also, we have social workers, we have a lot of things that look, if you beat your wife or your husband, there are bodies who also will arrest you and punish you for that. So these two mentalities, I hold my wife everything, it's not there anymore. So marriages also are regulated.
Please attend to two questions so that you can.
Okay, yeah, put one down, yes. The second one is like, what benefits because homosexuality offer the homosexuals and was that free from the usual challenges that sometimes okay, does that lead to divorce among the ideal male female marriage? What benefit does homosexual offer the homosexuality offer them? Well, the first thing is that we go into marriage based on different reasons. So the benefit of and that's not going to marry for me to have children. So if you don't have the children, then you are disappointed. Oh, I want to have male children. If you don't have male children, you are disappointed. And so the interracial marriage will not give that person the benefits. So if the essence of marriage is, oh, I want to give person I know that cares for me, fine. So the benefits the homosexual will offer them is, oh, I want companionship. I'm not after population. And so that's I'm coming down.
The second question, sir. So
okay, is homo a fantasy or a better alternative to remarriage? Well, for what I've looked at today, we have monogamy, it's form of marriage. We have even polygamy. I have men who have 2, 3, or husbands. So I would say it's a better alternative. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice as a lot of
thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. While we take more interventions, I will want to say something based on his presentation, talking about literary work. And then you mentioned culture. Please go to the sir. You mentioned culture. And yet the two writer or author you cited or you use their work, they are Africans. They made that. I mean, they brought a picture outside the culture, projecting what is not right in African cultures, projecting it as a reality. And taking lead from them, it means we are helping to project what is not ideal in our society.
Can I say something that it is not actually in African culture, it's not true. And I can boldly say that based on my study on African gender and sexuality, homosexuality has been an intricate part of African traditional African society.
Please, ma, because initially I noted, before its presentation, I said, when did homosexuality start in Nigeria? I noted it, but when you were making your presentation, then I started to be. So I now continue. I said, in order to trace its continuity, and it is continuity from literary perspective, because we were emphasizing literary perspective. Now she's giving us another side which is part of our culture. If it's part of our culture, when did it start? Can we trace it?
Oh, can I say something? Of course, that's just back to the pre-colonial period. The specific time you might not be able to say. But if you have studied the people culture, you realize that the lives of women like Abe, Babe, who were female warriors, who were female husbands, actually did marry other women, paid their bride prices, and made
You married for someone, not that. Okay.
they did not marry for somebody, they married as husband and wife. And these men became their husbands.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Because this concept will need. Yes. So I have to go back to hold on, sir. So that's the intervention now.
People have mentioned the of Nigeria that allow homosexuality, and I don't think he has given us answer.
He said, no, it's not on
And I also want to follow up that God will know in a way the narration concepts of creation. So if that is the case, what's the purpose of society? You are only saying it doesn't happen in the before. No, what's the staff, the larger Then I also want to point that there are two people that you mentioned in Africa that maybe has data about this. First, that's very, very insignificant. I would like that to make that research to look at more work at first coming generalized. It's just going to be cited and generalized it just like that. I don't think that is. Then I just want to see because I know how to keep some sign around. Now the woman was arrested and he was that it was around, it was around it told us that man is made up of spirit, soul, and body. Can the body exist without spirit?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. In addition to what you said, please, to expand your resource, you can also maybe employ the use of oral interview for us to trace the historicity of that country. She has made a position. Maybe we can trace if it's coming from the Igbo culture to the larger society of Nigeria. Let's know. And if we have a replica of it in Yoruba culture, let's see. If we have it in Hausa culture, let's see. Because you made mention of people and Hausa lady populating together. So let's see how we can have the link between. Please hold on, sir. You might have another question too. So let's take an intervention.
I was going to have that in homosexual marriage, who performs the husband's role? The husband's role now in African understanding of husband. Who performs? Is it the person that goes first or the recipient expense? You need to attention to here. Who performs the husband's role? in the African sense.
The one that goes for the percent, I want one scenario. If you want.
Excuse me, make it clear. Let me say what happened. The woman can propose the husband, but sexually.
In African perspective of society, we believe that the husband is one that caters to the family, pays students, guidance, all of that. In homosexual marriage, who pays the house rent? Yeah, obviously.
I'm not going to ask you.
Among them, and again, so my question is, you really the person that propose to the other, somebody will have the other. So is it the person that proposed or the person that was proposed to?
So you can propose if you propose as an husband or you propose as a wife. People in our bisexual marriage, the woman can propose, even now, there are okay, after we need to go back online, so let's have it. We need to go back. Okay, you want to take our attention back to line online consent? Okay, please come, sir.
Okay. Now, I believe that the objective of homosexual marriage is not the wife with the husband and the wife. It's primarily to satisfy the others. That's primarily to marry reason why she's so married. So that is on the marriage and man or the husband and wife to families are coming together to satisfy themselves. That's the time. Whether we and as women became it's that kind of thing. What I'm doing, yeah, who will be taking care of him, taking care of them. They will be
Their own entity. It's like, okay,
Modern time now. Women even don't.
okay. Anybody can drop a baby now. Okay, sir.
Okay, let's start very earlier. I want to use.
Okay.
I'm sure you're person of that. You still understand the concept very well. Most actually men marrying you sure. For something must have cost, especially when the man is not this fast. You are not married for the purpose of conversation. You marry and you may like another man. It's for procreation purpose. Not that you don't have anything to do with the woman. You may marry another woman because you may not have a child. So that is not really the sex of the wrong way. That is the main
Okay, so if the woman marries another woman, what's that called?
No, it's not homosexuality.
What?
So, homosexuality in this context, there must be sexual contacts. There is no
There won't be what?
sexual contacts.
There are those that no, yeah, between the two people. They will marry that woman. You will marry that woman to get a cheap person. That is another man to have a record of
Sexual interaction has gone beyond that contact. That's what the contact. So, because the issue of sexuality now, you can sex with digital.
Yes.
So, if you are going that way now, we can debunk your notion that there's no.
I also want to give another perspective to this because being together with a partner, either male or female, it's not just about sexual, it's also about companionship.
Yes.
So you cannot say that because a woman is marrying another woman, by the fact that they are not having sexual contact, doesn't mean that they are not doing sexual What about the companionship part of it?
Again, I just wanted to.
There was a marriage. What sexual? There was sexual. I am not estimating the sexual pathway. But even in the Bible, marriage is not suitable. It's not. Yes. It's not. It is not. I can marry and tell you you have kids. It is my pleasure. I just want to be a man of companionship. So that is not marriage. In my not.
Let's have the house. Okay, let's have it.
That's what you just said, man. Okay, I would say that, I would say that having a male and a female, like, you are not split, you have a relationship to company. You have to meet. So, one cannot say that, okay, we are in a relationship with somebody, say, I don't have to have sex with that person. So, saying that, and want to determine what we are associated with, I'll say that probably the person's look at taking the
Even your
supporting your body as humans, even for me, for instance, by the grace of God, I'm sure it's all my situations. I have feelings because I'm human. I am made with and everything. What is keeping us as children that is showing the depth of the truth? And if both families together, of course, it's part of what I choose. It's a man, not a woman. It's part of what God wants to do and marriage person. And God also has a duality for people that are very in the correct channel. Most
you are the
along with you. About marriage. Agree. We have normal marriage where we have man and woman. And we have man and man, which is okay. And we have lesbian, woman and woman, homosexuality. By the time we look at all three, number one, companionship is there for all of them. Yeah. Number two, sexual, let me say, intimacy is there. Then number three, not in our, please don't mix it together. In our culture, in our African culture here, we may not recognize it. But if you go to abroad, the Western world, they recognize it. Even they don't by law. Say that in our presence. No. America, some churches,
That's not about homosexuality to masculinity, femininity. If you don't have homosexuality,
if you have data or anything to prove it, it's right. You'll be right. I may be wrong.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Okay, one actually make the what? It's not a neutral with the right hand, she's a historian. In Michigan State University, she's a professor. Don't read about female kings. I hope you will read all of this thing.
But do you know that homosexual in Africa is a taboo?
Is it a
I am
And we are pushing it back to our presenter, Dr. Abiodun, is that we should go back and help trace, yes, homosexuality in, let's start with Yoruba, but Nigeria, because now we have created law.
I think what if you want to know about your brother, go and read works of Oyewo Fair.
Okay.
So you have an insight to it. Read Ahmad Owen, read one where I read read their books. They will give you insight about what we call people. Then there's another book, I'm trying to remember the author, wrote specifically on homosexuality in Hausa land. I'll pull up the book and show you.
Thank you, Beth. So that's the take home for this class. So I want you to work on it. We'll be glad to have this shared with us as you proceed in your self. Any other intervention, it seems our online colleagues are there fully. They are going to stay there. So do we have any other thing we would like to discuss?
Somebody has something on the around, something like that.
Okay, Aaron, okay. But please, before you respond to Aaron, it seems our doctor has something to say. Okay, we are good to go. We're on the same page now. So let's have just put up the subject of question.
It's going to be a misconception to bring in Christianity or Islam when you are so
okay, in addition to, when I just remember, you mentioned that Islam or Muslims are sort of conflict when it comes to Muslims. Are Christians not part of the community? Are they not also many problems? Okay, because let me cite this in Ogbomoso, for example, during the early period in the 19th century, when the missionaries came around. So they clash with the Christians. So, but now the narrative you're giving us now is that it is the Muslim. So we want you to justify it and contextualize it within Ibadan Metropole.
Sorry, please, I believe companies are very representing. Those are mentioned that in it, they believe that as spirits, soul, and body.
Yes.
And that is
Yes.
because on the body exists without.
Yes, let me chip in this. Idu, Balaji Idu, was part of scholars who try as much as possible to coin the idea of bringing in religion, Christianity, within Yoruba traditional concept. Normally, the Yoruba believe that you have the body and you have the spirit. The spirits are the ancestors.
So the body exists without a spirit.
So
Yes.
It's the
one that is you invoke it.
Doctor,
Yes, sir.
what's the place of the soul?
The Yoruba do not believe in the soul.
Okay.
It is Christianity and Islam that brought idea of the soul. That once you want to do evil here, you go and meet God.
In addition to that, so if the spirit belongs to the Arab, so then we are useless.
The spirits.
If spirit belongs to Arab, so everyone is again now. We are useless.
If you are looking at it from your own religion,
No, not we are looking from your own perspective, from your own description. Dictate, as the even said that women are not allowed to see that people now. Then I'm useless.
Then, if that should be the case, once you are an ancestor, that's why everyone can never be. No. It's not meant for everyone. Now, those ones that have been certified by the dead ancestor. That's why people will tell you that why this person painted. He said, while I was going, I saw somebody beat me and asked me to come back to the body. It's part of it. It is part of it. Ancestor, we have the living ancestor, we have the dead ancestor. Once you die and you not live well, they will change you back to death. That's why you have your people, you have the you have different type of people in service of death. No matter how you preach to them, no matter how you try to change them, they never change. So that is just the belief. The idea of the soul, I'm just saying it, is a colonial idea. The Yoruba do not believe. Yes, sir.
It's can you explain the meaning of soul?
Well, going by
That would be cross, right?
yes. Going by Christian ideology or Islam ideology, we believe that once someone dies, the soul goes back to God, the creator.
The body will gain.
The body will change. The spirit also go
Where?
to God. Yes.
I think the ancestor. I wanted to promote for that. When animals are pretty well. When the patient dies, then the spirit goes to the spirit world. And that is the one that we call ancestor.
Ancestor, yeah.
Now, during the masquerade, we believe that it is the ancestor that has come to face with us.
Yeah.
So they are going to be the ancestor among God, sitting among God. Therefore, they are human beings.
Yes.
Acting as they are our own.
Yes, they have.
Therefore, the problem I was trying to raise was that ethically, it means the masquerade as the bastardized. That is why it can be arrested by police. Because if there will not cause any ethical problem by using to steal, to rob, to cause trouble, there won't be any reason why they should be arrested. That's what I was trying to say.
I don't think the solution is a kind of escapist. Another arrow. It's believed to have some kind of power that even an ordinary man
And that process
Cannot go to touch.
is not religious life.
colonial mentality. So that's colonialism. An arrow,
Yes.
is believed to have possessed and power.
Yes.
That will make an ordinary policeman. Not a little touch.
Yes. He was talking to one. He was once that person is arrested, the spirit go back to where it comes from.
So the level for number one contextualize this concept. What from this Aaron, we want you to make it something that we next thing is just we will be able to understand. We don't have diversified opinions because the example on the eastern side arrested Aaron by police. According to that possesses his spirit, arrested the one that gave him spirit. In operation. So we want you to make it since you have been within the context of indigenous religion. So please let's have it and let's have a solidified about. Thank you very much. The session has been so engaging and so superb. I want to thank our presenters, those online, and the people on site for making this session so beautiful. The discussion will continue. We can still engage ourselves more. Let's see how it will come up beautifully. We have no any other comments, questions, can we take a bow and close this session? Or do we still have any other
So
discussion?
that 2 minutes away of the end of the session.
Okay. Thank you. Or do you have any interventions, sir?
I wanted to answer your questions because Islam and what happened most of the time is that Islam came to Ibadan before Christianity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before that, Islam came and we have more Muslim than the Christian in Ibadan. And let me tell you today, 75% of those people who are worshippers of Maxwell, even most of them are Muslim. The custodian of the Molo is Alhaji Kazim Abidjan. He's a Muslim. The man inside there is a Muslim. If you start teaching them one by one, you just discover that Islam is attached to them. So most of the time, the Muslims do not want this type of religion. So they try as much as possible to discourage the Ibadan people of doing the two together. So most of the time, when they passes at the front of the mosque, the Muslims try as much as possible do not allow in. So most of the time, that's why Islam are always having conflict. But Christians do not. You can do that. You love your heaven and pray for them.
Thank you.
I will take especially some of the stance. I will not waste time with this. Personally, I'm a Muslim, but there are some positions that I don't support them. The time is before
Please, I want us to take a quick photograph before we move to the next session. Please, can we please have it?
I think this side.
Can you help us?
Because that position is filled with two.
And that's the market in the next session. So please, let's okay, please let's go through that. Stop now.
Doctor, join us.